Hello class, my name is Teacher Bianca, and for today's video, we were going to talk about the poem entitled I Felt a Funeral in My Brain by Emily Dickinson. But before we do that, let's start it with learning objectives. So first learning objective is identify and explain the poem, explore the poem through different literary devices, and create your own title and poem and reflect it with your own experience. So before we were going to proceed to our discussion, let's just ask someone or anyone can answer this question. So, do you have someone or anyone you know who has a mental health problem? Yes? Thank you. Number two, how do you handle a person who has a mental health problem? Yes? Very good. So, I know that everyone uh, has not a professional education about handling someone who has a mental health problem, but at least someone can lean, or someone can be shoulder to cry on, or someone who can be listened to, or someone who she wanted to speak to or to listen to all of his or her rant can minimize or can make him or her calm in that situation. So, do you have any idea of how we'll be going to what will be our poem for today? Yes, maybe our poem for today is somehow relate to mental health problem issues. Yes, it can be. So, there's no one else. So, let's begin to read and analyze our poem for today, which entitled I Felt a Funeral in My Brain by Emily Dickinson. I felt a funeral in my brain, and mourners to and fro kept treading till it seemed that sense was breaking through. And when they all were seated, a service like a drum kept beating, till I thought my mind was going numb. And then I hear them lift a box and creak across my soul, with those same boots of lead again. Then space began to toll, as all the heavens were a bell, and being but an ear, and I, and silence some strange rays, wrecked solitary here. And then he plunk in reason, broke, and I dropped down and down, and hit a world at every plunge, and finished knowing then. So, do you have any questions, or do you have any analyzations about the poem? Yes, the poem is kinda full of sadness and sorrowful emotions, and yeah, it can be someone is being in the coffin or in the funeral. So, let's proceed to the literary devices that is being seen or being can be seen in the poem itself. So, in metaphor, I felt a funeral in my brain, which is in line 1, which means the funeral serves as a metaphor for the speaker's mental anguish or breakdown. So, the next one is the personification, and mourners to and fro, which is can be seen in line 3, which means the mourners are personified as they move back and forth within the speaker's mind. And the next literary devices that can be seen in the poem is the alliteration, which means the repetition of consonant sounds, particularly at the beginning words, adds musicality and rhythm to the poem. Which the example is, I felt a funeral in my brain and mourners to and fro, which is in lines. It can be seen in lines 1 and 2. The repetition of the F sound in funeral and F sound in the fro and in felt creates an alliterative effect. So, anyone understand our discussion? Do you have any clarifications or clarifications that we can be explain, or we're going to go back? So, nothing at all. So, let's proceed to assonance. Assonance is the repetition of vowels and sounds within words or phrases, creates a musical quality and contributes to the poem's rhythm. So, the assonance is the repetition of vowel sounds within the poem, or what are the repetition of vowel sounds that can be seen in the poem. So, example is, and then a plank in reason broke, which is can be seen in line 7. The repetition of the long O sound in reason and broke, which creates an assonant effect. So, do you have any clarifications or questions that we can be explained? So, no more questions. So, let's proceed to poetic devices. So, in poetic devices, the stanza is a poetic form of different numbers of lines. There are 5 stanzas in this poem. So, there are 5 stanzas in the I felt in funeral in my brain, and each stanza has a 4 lines. So, let's proceed to symbolism. So, various symbols are used to represent deeper meanings or ideas. So, for examples, and then a plank in reason broke. In line 7, the plank in reason symbolizes the breaking down of the speaker's rationality or sanity. So, that was the symbol or the deeper meaning of the lines in the poem. So, in imagery, Dickinson, or the author, uses vivid imagery to evoke sensory experiences and create a vivid mental picture for the reader. So, while Emily Dickinson write this poem, she uses vivid imagery to evoke sensory experience and create a vivid mental picture for the reader. So, for example, and then it was a world. So, it was be seen in line 11, which means that this line conjures imagery of the speaker's mental world collapsing, emphasizing the magnitude of the experience that can be seen in the poem itself. So, do you have any clarifications or questions about the poetic devices and the literary devices of the poem? Also, there's no questions at all. So, I will be going to just a summarization of the poem itself. So, it explores themes of mental anguish, existential crisis, and breakdown of the self. The speaker describes a metaphorical funeral procession taking place within their mind as they experience a mental breakdown or descent into madness. The relentless drumming and tolling bells represent the escalating intensity of their inner turmoil, leading to a sense of disintegration and spiritual death. So, ultimately, the poem captures the profound despair and fragmentation of the human psyche in the face of overwhelming mental anguish. So maybe Emily Dickinson write this poem to show or to let us, the reader, to um to, to, to be to make us feel what other people can feel in the scenario, or maybe in that coming, or what are happening in their mind. Yeah, so do you have any questions or clarification, class? So there's nothing at all, so let's proceed. Thank you. There's no the application or the assessment can be seen in our Google Classroom, so I will be posting it maybe later. And then thank you for your active participation in today's discussion, and I want to congratulate you because you exert effort for your own understanding. I am hoping that you will share and apply what you have learned today. Have a great day and God bless you all. Thank you.